A little haze never hurt anyone. My travels along Lake Erie lacked in clarity due to wildfires from our neighbors to the north. But where the day failed in perfect weather, it exceeded in expectations, thanks to unique tours, mouth-watering eats, and fireside chats on the scenic Catawba Island. I sought a little history upon my arrival, so I paid a visit to the Catawba Island Historical Society Museum.
Hey, Craig.
I am. Tim,
nice to meet you.
Yeah, same here.
Thanks for having us out.
Welcome to the Union Chapel.
The Union Chapel. I'm already getting
Museum.
that heavy dose of history that we have here at Catawba Island. Do you do tours here yourself? Do you love bringing people around?
I do, but all the board members do.
Yeah.
We have a group of docents who also provide tours. So it's we do our best to make sure the public knows about who we are and what we do.
Built in 1888, the building was designed as a Sunday school, then became a non-denominational church, and now it tells the story of Catawba Island.
This rock was originally down close to Lake Erie, and it was used by the Ottawa Indians. When the Indians were here, they ground their corn on this rock, and you can see a round depression right there where they would work
Can
their
I go
way
up and
around.
touch it?
Sure, exactly.
So it's like right in this area?
Exactly.
So they would ground their corn, like to get the corn off the cob?
Corn and seeds to
Really?
make meal out of it.
Interesting. Yeah, it seems so easy to do stuff like that now, but you know, back
Exactly.
then, that's how you had to do it.
Thank you. This
Wow.
is it. This is
Really
the
nice.
about 1,000 square feet. So what we did was we designed it to be a timeline tale.
The geology of Catawba
Exactly.
Island. Catawba Island's signature rock, what is that?
Exactly.
That's
Well,
interesting.
If you drive around Catawba, you will see many of the houses are fronted with a rough-looking stone, and that's called Solarium dolomite. That is our particular type of rock. And that's a piece of it right there. Solarium dolomite, Catawba's stone.
So that's what it was built on, literally, Catawba Island.
We are sitting on a bed of Solarium
Very cool.
dolomite. Exactly.
Now, I see a question here, is Catawba an island? Is Catawba an actual island?
That's one of the questions we're asked most frequently.
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
Okay.
Today it is what's called a tied island. It's connected to the mainland down by Port Clinton by a sandbar, which is Sand Road just south of here. And that's called a tombolo. That's the name of the geological feature, a tombolo, that connects our island to the mainland. So it is in fact an island.
So the island name makes sense. As for the Catawba moniker, that's in honor of the Catawba grape, which originated in Asheville, North Carolina, then made its way to northern Ohio in the mid-1800s. But there's even more to this story.
The name Catawba came from the Indian tribe and the river that were down on the border between North and South Carolina. Catawba means separated. That was referring to the area where the river the Indians lived on forked. People who came as settlers later changed it to Catawba.
Catawba, and then the actual island's named after the grapes, the grapes were named after the
grapes were
original Native
found
American
on the
tribe.
banks of the Catawba River.
Gotcha.
The Catawba grape made the area fruitful for winemakers like Gideon Owen, who owned one of the original 3 wineries on the island, and whose name is now honored at the winery down the street.
It's named after Gideon Owen once again, the Gideon Owen
The
winery.
owner of what used to be Mon Ami lives on the property that was owned by Gideon Owen where he had his winery. And that's why he chose that name.
There will be a
Gideon Owen
quiz
Winery.
after all of this. Thank
yeah.
you.
Wine tasting comes later in my visit, but for now, we continue to make our way around the museum, where I also learned that Catawba is known for its peaches.
They were planted by a Civil War soldier named J.W. Gamble. He was the first guy who planted peaches on Catawba.
Gamble laid the groundwork, while Bergman Orchards made peaches famous thanks to a cheeky sign.
The guy, Mr. Bergman, came up with this idea of drawing a picture of a woman bathing with her back end appearing
As
to
a
be
peach.
a peach, right?
The Catawba Cliffs was a place of relaxation with cottages and beaches, while fishermen populated the area in punt boats.
fishing and hunting in this area was so popular and still is. When we get kids in here and we tell them a story about how boats like that were used to pole out into the marshes to hunt ducks, and they say, okay. But then we tell them the thing that's special about this boat is that it has a ghost that lives in it. The question is, how do we know whether the ghost is there today? And so we'll get one of the little kids to shout out, "Ghost, are you there?" And if the ghost is here today, he'll give them a sign. Sometimes we tell him he'll throw a little piece of corn out of that bucket at him. Or there are other things that he can do. Now I'm going to let you do this.
I was going to ask if I could do that.
Tim, you be the one who shouts out, "Ghost, are you here?" If he's here, he'll give us a sign.
Okay. And you usually have kids do it, right?
Oh yeah, the kids are the ones who do it.
So they respond to little kids. "Ghost, are you here?"
He is here. You lucked out.
Yeah.
You got the day.
Ghosty's here.
All right, go away, ghost.
Look at that.
Yeah.
The ghost responds.
So there you have it.
Wow,
Those are the
that's so
kinds
cool.
of things that we do to attract the kids to the history that
I like
goes
that
along
little
with
added
our
touch.
museum.
That's really cool. I can tell the enjoyment that you get out of it. First of all, I'm very impressed that you remember all this. I'm sure years of tours definitely helps with that.
It's more than a hobby. I mean, this is almost as an avocation at this point.
One Tank Travel with Tim McMahon is presented by Shores and Islands, Ohio.